You continue doing what you're doing. Never let nobody change you because you are who? Shamar. You are a star. And as long as you know what you know, that's all that matters.
If we're going by numbers, because numbers cannot be disputed, women are ready. Women. Because 67% of black children are born into single mother households, no father. So women have to raise their children, period, with or without a man. That does not absolve her of her duty. When a man chooses to leave, he is not left with the responsibility of raising children unless he gains primary custody. So based on statistics, when you say who's more ready to build a family, women.
No, 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 no.
So he's saying your wife is a hoe. Your wife is a bitch.
I'm sorry. You are very, very rude tonight.
No, you're rude.
I'm not even talking to you.
I can hold my own damn time. You're not doing that bullshit with me tonight.
I'm not even talking to you right now.
But you talk.
What I'm on here for about is Queen Sheba.
Say that louder now. We don't get to hear that often. Say it louder. I think you are very open-minded about a lot. I think you haven't had an opportunity to experience a conservative relationship. Hold on. And if and when you do, come back and talk to me. Yeah.
What you don't realize is that you don't listen, ma'am.
I don't have to. You're not my daddy. Listen. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So listen, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We are doing something a little bit different today. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We are talking all things basketball wives. We are talking basketball wives. You see the thumbnail. Oh, I got a funny feeling and a sneaky suspicion. This just may be one of them ones. This just may be one of them ones. And let me just roll it out for you. Welcome. If you're new to the palace, I'm Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral The behavioral traits of the Black experience. And we going to break it down. And I am not here to summarize what you think I should say. I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to tell you what I feel, what I believe, and I'm going to stand on business. And then I am going to give you the opportunity to stand on business. Now, a few housekeeping items, because I really feel like this could be a very tender, touchy topic. Because some of you, if the truth be told, we're going to start out hot. Some of you may be a motherless daughter that are in the chat. And that doesn't mean your mother is not necessarily no longer with us, but some of y'all may be a motherless daughter where you have mothers that don't give a damn, ain't worth a damn, didn't do a damn when you were a child. Some of you may be a Jackie Christie, because if you look at the description, see, I have to look at the bigger picture. When it comes to this kind of stuff. For me, it's not a one and done. For me, it's not the fact that, oh, Chantel pushed her, I would have knocked her teeth out. Back up. What led to this? In the words of Deborah Cox, how did we get here? How did we get here? And that's the part ain't nobody talking about. We love to start in the middle. We love to start in the middle and crucify everybody without taking in any additional details. Okay. Now, how I see it, TV, I know you're listening at work. She's listening at work. She's very passionate about this topic. She gave me a full rundown of what she could or would say if she were not at work. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to do that because you wanted to be here today, but you can't because you're at work. Chantel is not the villain here. Yeah, Chantel is not the villain here. Her mother failed her. And not only did Jackie fail her children, her daughters, because she loved that boy. Jackie failed her daughters. Jackie failed her oldest daughter, Takara, and she also failed Chantel. Watch this. Coco Lee, I see you, Coco Lee. Hold on. Coco Lee said, Queen Sheba, the gas burning on. The gas got the gas burning and ready to cook. And I'm gonna let y'all cook today. I'm gonna let y'all come up. Jackie Christie failed her daughters. I believe Jackie Christie don't like her daughters and hasn't liked her daughters for quite some time. Chantel became a fan fave. And when I say a fan fave, I mean in the household because Takara was too dark and fat. Let's talk about it. And these are the words of Takara. And if any, listen, you never know who's in the bushes around here. We people pull up around here all the time. Takara, Chantel, Jackie, anybody from Basketball Wives. Later on, if you feel moved or compelled to click the link, please do so. I will clear the palace and let you talk. But I'm going to run it down because I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Gross 6565 says, I'm a mother. You can't say that. I just did. This ain't about me. I'm just facilitating the conversation. This ain't about me. Stay focused on Basketball Wives. I just said, I believe. Jackie, you can't convince me Jackie loves her daughters. A mother that loves her daughter wouldn't have swung on her. Quit playing with me. Now, quit playing with me. I wouldn't have swung on mine. I wouldn't have swung on mine. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't have swung on my mother, but I'm not Chantel. So until you get molested and your mother sits back and turns a blind eye, until you are treated and abused, don't say what you could or could not do. I know how she pushed her mama first, but the question is what led up to it? And y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about that because you're so busy beating into these children. I'm the motherfucking mama. You only got one mama, then act like it. Prioritize your children over men. Believe your children when they come to you and say they've been touched, even if it's by a sibling. Sit your ass down somewhere as a mama and love on these girls, because when you don't and you allow your children to be molested, abused, I don't give a damn if it's by a family member, by you, this is the outcome. This is the outcome of turning a blind eye. This is the outcome of toxic parenting. This is the outcome of no good ass mamas. I told y'all I was going to shake, rattle, and roll today, but don't nobody want to talk about that. Ouch. And a lot of Black mamas are not good mamas. And ain't nobody got the heart to say it. Ain't nobody got the courage to say, because you know why? You'll get your fucking teeth. Look at all the comments. I would have knocked her out while she's getting pushed. That push had nothing to do with Basketball Wives, if you really understand what's going on here. This is a repeated pattern. And look, people are going, they mad, y'all. This is a repeated pattern of toxic abuse in a household. This is a repeated pattern of when you raise your girls and love your boys and you treat your girls like crap and you're in this toxic turmoil because Jackie herself was molested as a child. Jackie herself was molested as a child and placed in foster care. Thank you, How I See It TV, for running it down. Placed in foster care at the age 8, okay? We talk about this all. This ain't nothing new to us talking about trauma. This may be new to you. So it's going to be oos upside your head today. This may hurt some of you that are in the chat today because you're used to a lot of this, but we go deep. We do entertainment. We laugh and we kiki, but we talk about the real too. We talk about the real too. When children are molested, sexually abused, touched, physically abused, picked on, bullied in a household, or even witness it indirectly. Let's just say it doesn't happen to them. But when they watch you as a mother have a rotating door of men coming in and out, they watch you have dysfunctional relationships. However, you want to lay it out. If you do not place your children in therapy, there's a high probability that they are going to grow up and be some type of a predator. Not necessarily a sexual predator, but a predator. It could be a financial predator, an emotional predator. It could be a sexual predator. It could be somebody that likes to fight. Look, this applies to boys too. It's called adverse childhood experiences. ACE. Look it up at the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the center at CDC. They talk a lot about it. ACE. Look it up. Adverse childhood experiences. And it refers to traumatic or stressful events that occur during childhood, y'all, such as abuse, neglect, or household dysfunction. They don't necessarily have to be sexually abused. It could be you arguing and fighting, cussing and screaming and yelling. They have long-lasting negative impacts on the mental health, physical health, and social issues later in life. That's why I told you and I asked you, how did we get here? You looking at the push. I'm exploring what led to the push. How did we get here? Long lasting. What you saw is a long lasting effect of brushing things under the rug, brushing shit under the rug. I'd rather be a basketball wife and pretend my family is good. My marriage is good. I'm a great mother. I love Chantel. Don't talk about my daughter. Girl, please. Girl, please. Both of your daughters are broken and they are motherless. They are motherless. Chantel is a motherless daughter. This is Jackie's fault. That's what I believe. This is Jackie's fault. And a lot of you want to be the mother until it's time to take the responsibility and take on the load of addressing where you went wrong with your children. A lot of you would rather be the mother and be right and suppress anything, any type of feedback that your children have for you. You rather die and go to your grave than hear how you hurt them, what you've done wrong, how you allowed them to be hurt, the decisions that you made, how it impacted their mental health, and how they are struggling as adults. And you wonder why teenagers and young adults struggle with suicide ideation, because you're not giving them a pipeline. You're not giving them a vessel and an outlet to speak. We saw Chantel. That's true. We can't dismiss Doug. We're going to come to that. We saw Chantel struggle and try to have conversations. Jackie was not having it. But please keep in mind, as we begin to walk through all of this, this has nothing to do with Basketball Wives. We just get to see it play out on Basketball Wives. That's it. This is shit that this is just playing out on Basketball Wives. And listen, I'm not a big fan of Evelyn or anybody else on there, Shawnee or anybody else. Let alone, I mean that. But this is not those women's fault. What you're seeing is a lingering of adverse childhood experiences from both the mother and the daughter. Jackie didn't fix herself, and so the pattern of abuse has continued. Jackie was molested. Did you not know if you are sexually molested as a child, physically abused, or whatever you go through, do you not know you set the stage for your kids to go through that if you don't fix it and stop it and get yourself in some intensive therapy somewhere along the way? And Jackie, unfortunately, didn't have to do that because Jackie found a rich husband, a man that was in the NBA. I'm not faulting her for that. So all of that overshadowed the work that she needs to do. And no matter how far she runs or how she tries to hide, this is a reflection of Jackie's decisions to ignore her children, to not address the monster in the house. And that is the abuse and the level of dysfunction and the trauma and the hurt and the pain. Ain't no amount of fame, fortune, money, notoriety can take away them demons that will eat you up when somebody has wronged you, not even as a child, right? As a child, we're talking, even if something happened to you, nothing can take away the scars, the memories. And for Jackie, she covers it up with her role on Basketball Wives. A while back, I knew something was wrong with Jackie, right? before we even got to this, many, many years ago. Now, a lot of y'all, it's entertainment. It's entertainment for me, but I knew Jackie was off in a way. I knew Jackie was off in a way. I was like, it's something about Jackie that just doesn't seem credible. It's almost like she hops between different personalities and she's trying her best to be something. And I didn't know why then. Now, I would like to read, in fairness, because I told her I would, from How I See It TV. She's a content creator and she wanted to come up today when I opened up, and it's not a panel discussion. Let me be clear. Once we get started, this is an opportunity for you to come up and get 60 seconds to speak your piece. It ain't about me. You have the freedom to disagree. You have the freedom to stand on business, and you said what you said, period. You said what you said, okay? But I'm gonna read her statement. She said, I really wanted to be a part of your motherless daughter panel today, but I'll be at work. Don't know if you know, but for context, Jackie was dropped off at foster care by her own mom when she was only 8 years old, where she was abused and neglected by her foster mother. One of Jackie's foster family was a white family who put mayo in her hair. They were racist, with the foster mom telling her she wasn't welcome there. She was traumatized living with them. And in my opinion, this is the content creator that sent what she wanted to say today. She's saying, in her opinion, she believes that the abuse Jackie endured with that family shaped her mentality about skin color, which later on impacted how she felt about Takari. She said then she started modeling Jackie at age 13 to escape foster care. It's also nuanced. And for me, the motherless daughter conversation starts with Jackie's mom, who then became the best mother figure in the world to her granddaughters while Jackie was absent, being on the road with Doug. This is good, How I See It TV. And you know what I like? She didn't know what I was going to get on here and say today. But in her response and sending me that, she still covered how we got here. She's still covering how we got here. Some of you are starting with the push. Y'all, you got to go all the way back to see what would make a daughter even think she can put her hands on her mama like that. And that's why I said Chantel is not the villain. How did we get here? And for a lot of you, I'm a mama, but we still got, that does not negate the fact that there were some mistakes made by mamas. And if we go back and we start with Jackie's mama, and if I really believe if we could go back and research, there was a line of abuse from mama to daughter, and we can go on and on and on. And that's a real phenomenon in the Black community. Some of you don't like your daughters. You pretend to, but you don't like them. I didn't say you didn't love them. I said you don't like them. And it shows up. She goes on to say, yes, the point I'm making is Chantel has been the daughter by Jackie's side for years. The favorite, red carpet pictures, going to events, all smiles. Chantel has been on the show for several seasons, and they only talked about childhood stuff once in therapy, and that was during season 2. Where Jackie apologized to both daughters and was paving a way forward. Now, here's the thing. Jackie may have apologized on the show, but according to the daughters, there is no acknowledgement of wrongdoing and or abuse off the show. So I cannot give Jackie, me personally, a round of applause for turning on and putting on the hits when the cameras are rolling. Because your daughters are still sufferers. They're still motherless when the cameras are off. Let's continue with her other statement. She says, in that therapy session, Chantel said her biggest issue was that her mom was not present. She was out making things happen and felt like providing financially was all they needed when they wanted her to be there to tuck them in at night. Chantel also told Laura Govan in season 2 that her childhood was great, but it was her sister Takari that had the hard time. So when you compare everything Chantel has said in the past to this season, it's just not adding up. At least not for me. This is the other blogger that sent her. She wanted to be here, but she's sending her thoughts because she's at work. She said in the scene Monday, when her and Jackie first met for the one-on-one, Chantel did not say when her mom comes to sit down that she wants to address childhood trauma. She said she wanted Jackie to take accountability for things that have happened since she, Chantel, moved back to Los Angeles. Chantel lives in Arizona and moved back to LA just to film the show to prove to the family court judge that she had income in order for the judge to allow her to move her eldest child to Arizona. She said, again, it's so nuanced. That's a part of it. And you did a great job, How I See It TV. First of all, a round of applause to you. She can't be on today because she's working, y'all. You did a great job of running it down from a technical aspect. That's a part of it. But that's not all of it. And one moment on camera is not going to be able to capture a very convoluted relationship between mother and daughter. And I don't even want to hold Chantel accountable for season 2. She was a child. She probably was not mentally ready, nor did she have the critical thinking skills to be able to confront her mother, whom she's still dependent on as a minor, to be able to say, you abuse me, you allow me. I mean, where's that going to get her? Nowhere. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, yeah, great job, How I See It TV. That was awesome. That was an excellent breakdown. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show the clip. You've seen it over and over and over, but I just want to read Chantel's message. She did come out and acknowledge her wrongdoing. I want to read Ming Lee's public apology to Jackie. And then I'm going to pause. And I'm going to open the lines. Listen to me very carefully. It is not a panel discussion. You're going to come up. I'm going to let you all in one by one. You get 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 45 seconds. Okay. I'm going to ask that we keep the momentum going. And then I'm going to go to the next person. And I'm going to ask that once you're done, that you drop yourselves down. If not, I'll go ahead and drop you down. Okay. Housekeeping items. So we're focusing on basketball wives. I'm going to share a couple of things. First, we're going to start with Ming Lee's apology that she penned to Jackie Christie. See, I like to be fair. But before I do all of that, let's talk about Doug Christie. Doug Christie, you failed your daughter. You failed your stepdaughter. I don't know what it is about Jackie. I do believe there is something mentally that could be there. That's a huge possibility. It has to be there, right? And Doug, I don't know if you use basketball and outside the home as your escape to not have to deal with the monster that lies beneath. But all is not well in the home. And you failed your daughter because you've allowed Jackie to browbeat your daughter for even loving you as a father. So it seems like there's a lot of complexity and blurred lines even around that relationship. The girl can't even talk about her dad without me getting a cringy feeling that Jackie makes it feel like it's nasty or flirty or something for Chantel to even be able to relate or talk about her father when she keeps saying, that's my husband. You mean my husband? Well, first of all, that's your daughter. It's not like you're competing with a side chick, but that's exactly what it's giving. Y'all, there's a lot of demonic underbelly here. And when we talk about demonic underbelly, there's this low tone of sexuality that's lingering as a result of sexual childhood trauma, where you're making her relationship with her dad feel dirty and awkward. There's a lot going on here. You've seen it on television. I'm not making this up. Have you not felt uncomfortable? It may have been a slight hint to your intuition or your spirit to say, oh, why would she even talk to her daughter how come, oh, that felt different. And that's all I'm saying. That's how the intuitive works. When you get an intuitive hit, you're like, oh, that kind of felt different. I wouldn't have a problem if my daughter talked about her father. I'm not going to put myself up against my daughter and compete with her. A husband is different versus a father. He can be your husband and still be her father without you making it feel dirty to her as a child. So there's a lot here to unpack. And I don't want to get too far in it, but Doug, I'm going to just say this. You're somewhat of a coward. Because here's the situation. You could have stepped in and saved her as a father. You could have stepped in and laid down a motherfucking law to both Jackie and the girls in the house. You could have addressed the childhood abuse. Both girls have come online and said that they've been abused in that house. Both girls said that they've been abused in that home. Recently, Chantel came out, and if one of my moderators can send it, if you can find it, where Chantel shared on social media that she was sexually molested by her older sister. Where did Takari learn that from? Who taught Takari that? Motherless daughters. When children are abused, there's a high probability that they will grow up to be abusers and or predators in some realm of this wheel of life. It could be financial, emotional, spiritually, mentally, physically, sexually. It doesn't necessarily have. So when kids start to abuse, somebody did it to them or somebody made them watch. The question is who? Motherless daughters. That's why I said Chantel is a motherless daughter. And so is Takari. And now what we're witnessing in real time, Takari has come out to speak. And you know what she's doing by shunning her sister? She's saying she doesn't even know our mother. At this point, Takari is fighting for scraps, for kibbles. I'll say anything to get my mother's love, even if it means betraying my sister and her hurt and her pain. Because mama threw me away, but this may be my opportunity to get picked back up by mama, because I'm going to go out here and stand up for mama, even though mama abused me and made me walk on a treadmill for hours and hours and hours at a time because I was too black and I was too fat, according to mama. And I understand and I take in the notion that Jackie was abused, but that's no excuse as a woman. When you decide that you're grown enough to have kids, you need to step up to the plate. I don't want to hear shit about how you was abused, so you going to abuse your daughter, pick on her, bully her, call her fat, black, and ugly, and put her on a treadmill because you were abused. That is not an excuse anymore. It's time that women be held accountable and they accept responsibility for failing their families and fucking up their families. That's all I'm saying. Ain't no way you can make me say, okay, she was abused. She was abused. And here's why I say it's hard for me to pause on Jackie. Jackie had the money. Jackie's married to an NBA player. Jackie had more money at one time than any of us all put together. We came in and added up all of our income, all of you, all 800 of you that's in here. She still was bringing in more money. So she had the capability, the access, and the resources to be able to go and speak to a freaking therapist about everything that went on with her. She had the money to see the best of the best, but she was too busy chasing a fucking man around the world. You know why? She was chasing love, fulfillment, validation, recognition, everything her mama couldn't give her, because Jackie was also a motherless daughter. Chantel is doing the same thing. Chantel is doing the same thing. But Doug, this is also your fault because Chantel had two parents. Jackie may have had one. Chantel had two. And as a man, you could have stepped in. But because you abandoned your daughter in the household to make your wife feel better about her fucked up ass trauma and her fucked up ass demons, your daughter is looking for love in all the wrong places. And the number one spot that women or young girls and most women look for love is where? Underneath a man. Let's talk about it. And she's going to continue that because both parents failed her. So that's why the title of my video is Chantel isn't the villain here. She's a product of her environment. She's a product of her mother's bad decision. She's a product of her father's inability to stand his at. What's the point of having a man in the house if he can't regulate? Isn't that what it's about? Isn't that the goal? Is to become one so that he could lead us in love What's the point of doing that if he can't step in and say to a ruthless mother, enough is enough? That's all I'm saying. All right. Here we go. I want to get into Ming Lee's apology first. And then I want to get into Chantel's acknowledgement of her wrongdoing second. And then last, I'm going to play the video. And then we'll take it from there. If that makes any sense. We'll take it from there. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. All right, here we go. I'm not buying Jackie was the worst mother ever. Who said she was the worst mother ever? I said she was not a good mom. Who said ever? You don't have to buy it. But the fact of the matter is her kids were abused and sexually molested. So if I don't know if you give a round of applause to that. That's the problem in our community. That's the problem. Y'all be patting shit on the back that don't make no sense. That's detrimental. Y'all be patting shit on the back that'll cause somebody to take their own life. Y'all crazy to me. Y'all crazy to me. Some of you. So we gonna turn a blind eye to children getting abused just so we can big up a grown-ass woman and make her feel good about herself. Fuck that the kids got abused. Forget the fact that they were sexually tormented and traumatized in their own home. We gonna put this grown-ass woman, like we tend to do in the Black community. Kids don't have a voice. They can't talk. They're not important. Your mama wasn't that damn bad. Girl, and I'm not talking to the person that put that. It's asinine to me. And we wonder why we are in the state that we're in and why these kids are out here on kush and drugs and alcohol. They just disobedient. No, have you ever sat down and did a little research on what coping mechanisms look like? What are you trying to cope with? What are you coping? Why are you using that to cope? What is it that's hurting you so bad that at a young age you smoking and drinking and y'all don't care enough for me. Y'all don't care enough for me. We so busy protecting these big, grown, overgrown ass men and women in the community. To hell with the kids. And when you say to hell with the kids, you're basically writing off your own legacy, if you know it or not. That's why with kids, I handle them tenderly. I don't give a damn if they bad as hell. I look at them and I talk to them like they are somebody. I met a young girl on a cruise ship. I was having a lemon drop. 2 little girls walked up to me. I didn't know their age in a moment. You know what, ma'am, what are you drinking? That was the oddest question. I said, huh? Excuse me? First of all, why are 2 kids at the bar? But okay, that ain't my business. I said, huh? What are you drinking? That looks good. I say, that's a lemon drop. She said, that sure looks good. I ain't think too much of it. They sat down. They were getting water. And one of them starts talking to me. I'm on FaceTime with my husband. She said, oh, is that your husband? I said, yes, it is. She said, hi, Mr. Husband, so-and-so, blah, blah. Beautiful little girl. Watch this. Mama had just gave her up 3 days before. These kids be talking if you want to listen. Mama just gave her up 3 or 4 days before to a set of grandparents that she hardly even knew. And they took her on a cruise to make her feel better. I said, why'd your mom give you up? She's telling me all of this. I said, why'd your mom give me up? Shit, I don't know. 14 years old talking like that. I don't know, ma'am. I said, well, hold on. How did you get with these grandparents? She said, I don't really know them. I said, well, who are the grandparents? That's my dad's parents. Where's your dad? Oh, his parents just took me in. Watch this. The little girl told me she was drunk. I said, what? Yeah, I'm drunk. Ma'am, I went hard. I said, excuse, whoa, look, all of us are, I said, how did you get drinks? Oh, I didn't get them here on the cruise. They too strict here. I got them at Mr. Santos in Cozumel, whatever, Santos or something, Santos. She said, they don't even check. I had me 4 frozen watermelon margaritas. Ooh, they good, but shit. She said, I'm drunk. I ordered her a Pepsi. I said, do your parents know or your grandparents know y'all drink? No. And there was another little girl with her. And that, you know what that little girl told me? Ma'am, do you have any kids on here? I said, yes, I do. She said, Is he a good kid? I said, yes, he is a very good kid. She says, ma'am, can I tell you something? I said, yeah. She said, please don't believe us. I said, what do you mean? We're not good kids. She said, my dad will tell anybody I'm a good kid, but I be drinking and smoking too, and he has no idea. Ma'am, please check on your kids. Don't believe them when they say they don't drink and smoke. We be lying. I said, well, how can we tell as parents? She said, if we're normally talkative and we get real quiet, sometimes that can mean we're high or we're drunk and we just go in our room and get quiet so y'all can't tell. And then not only that, yeah, that's what she told me. And then they start telling me how they like little girls. Yeah. That they have crush on. And I'm not judging. How did we get here? I bought her a Coke, a Pepsi. That conversation was wild. I bought her a Pepsi and I said, listen, this is what I need you to do. First of all, you shouldn't be drinking. She said, are you one of them parents? Were you mean to kids? I said, no. I said, but I don't play with kids neither. She said, okay, you shouldn't. She said, but do you talk to kids crazy like they don't have no feelings? I said, absolutely not. You matter to me. And I told her, I said, what do y'all drink? What y'all like? What y'all like to drink? The other one said, ma'am, unfortunately, I'm sorry. We kids. We got to take whatever we can get. Y'all, why did I bust out laughing? They're so freaking honest. She said, we got to take what we can get. We can't be picky. And then the one that was closest to me said, I don't really like alcohol. I just drink for the feeling. I said, okay. I didn't judge her. I asked the bartender for a Pepsi. I said, I need you to go to your room. I need you to drink this Pepsi. She said, I'm going to drink water. I said, water's not going to help you. It's going to make the room spin. I need you to drink this Pepsi. I need you to go to your room. And I don't need you to come back out today. Okay? I'm not going to tell on you because I don't know your grandparents, but I don't like this for you. And if Carnival sees you're drunk, they're going to take you to jail. There is a jail on this cruise ship, and they're going to take you to jail, and they're going to find your grandparents. Go to your room now. And I looked at the other one. I need you to walk her to her room. Do you understand me? Yes, ma'am. And that's all I could do. That's it. That's all. So parents, most people will focus on them some badass kids. The question is, how do we get here? How do we get here? And with that being said, here we go. We're going to explore Ming Lee's response and her apology to Jackie Christie in real time. Let me know when you can see the screen, and I'm going to read it out loud, and then we're going to explore Chantel's response, and then we're going to watch the video and open up the lines. From Ming Lee. Ming Lee issued a public apology to Jackie Christie. She says, Jackie, I'm going to keep it real. After watching last night's episode, and thinking back to everything, how everything played out in real time, I owe you an apology. If anything I said or did came off offensive, that was never my intention, and I am truly sorry. I was under the impression you swung first, and that shaped how I saw it. But watching it back, it hit different. I don't condone violence at all, and it was hard to watch. As a mom, I understand where your emotions were coming from. Anybody in your shoes would have felt the same. This whole situation reminded me to stay out of family business and to focus on my own damn business. I really do hope you all can heal from this because that was tough to witness. Let me ask you something. And there's no right or wrong way to respond to this question. But my question is to the mothers out there. There's no right or wrong. How many of you would have hit your daughter back? How many of you would have swung on your daughter? Just type me, not the ones that would not. I want to know the ones. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong question. How many of you would not have swung on your daughter? How many of you would not have hit your daughter back? We're not talking about are we human? I'm just talking about the ability to master self-control. How many of you would not have hit your daughter? Me. And y'all are responding when I say me. Tiffany, it doesn't need justification. Tiffany said that's a grown woman. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you as a grown woman. I'm not saying did it hurt or is she right. We're not justifying anything. How many of you would have held back and not hit your daughter? That's all we got. That's it. Thank you, Q Catrice. I would have not. I wouldn't have hit my daughter back. Me personally. That's not a wrong or right, y'all. I'm just asking. This is just dialogue to see how a lot of you operate. Listen, I've been popped before. I've been hit before. Y'all talking about reflexes. Okay. We know some of y'all gonna fight. I get it. Dominique said, nah, we gonna fight. Queen, thank you, 3. Nah, I would not have hit. Lala said, Layla. I know. I made a mistake. Only to the first question. I got you. Me, I would have gotten help for the both. Okay. Yes. Okay. This is why we aren't having a reunion. I don't know. Definitely not. Don't hit me. I get it, y'all. I get it. Some of y'all say you hit me, I'm wearing you out. I get all that, but I wanna talk to the ones that wouldn't. I just want to know. You do know. You've been popped before. You know. It ain't a reflex. Jackie had an I'm not blaming her. I'm asking y'all about you. How many of y'all would have said, I'm not going to do this with you? Somebody say y'all lying. Island Girl says they lie, and human behavior is fight or flight, and your emotions are high in front. Fight or flight or freeze. You forgot about freeze. Freeze is one of them. But we also have choices. Stop at. We're not animals. We have choices. Animals will bite you back. We have choices. Stop acting like we don't have choices. The real CT say I'm hidden. All right, at least y'all are honest. Damn, I can't take y'all nowhere. All right, let's get into Chantel's. Chantel breaks her silence. What you saw, she said, was a masterclass in narcissism. And Chantel also opens up about toxic family dynamics, abuse, and public judgment. Here it is. She says, I'll start by saying, if you've never dealt with a toxic mother, then you truly have no idea what it feels like. As painful as it's been to watch these moments of my life play out on television, I know my younger self is proud of the woman who finally stood up for herself. Hint, hint, her younger self. She's speaking to the little girl that couldn't fight back. The truth is, this dynamic is not rare. It happens in more families than we'd like to admit. Narcissism, jealousy, lies, lack of accountability, gaslighting, abuse, hiding, assault, etc. We're just taught to keep it in the house and suffer in silence. I choose to break that cycle. What you witnessed was a masterclass in narcissism. Someone lighting the fire behind the scenes, then walking away so you look like the arsonist. I know what really happened on and off camera all season long. So no, the internet cannot bully me into submission. Y'all know the TV character. I know the mother. She touched my arm. I pushed her off of me. She swung. Plain and simple. It's unfortunate things played out this way, and I wish it never happened. But if you knew our history, then you know this was a long time coming. I may not be proud of all of my choices this season, but I'm also not ashamed. This is my real life, and I doubt anyone judging me lives a perfect life. I see the hate mail, I see the judgment, but I also see all of the messages that say, I've dealt with this too. This reminds me so much of my situation. To those of you with heart and understanding, I see you and I appreciate your vulnerability. To those of you who've met me, with threats, vile statements, and extreme judgment, may you never understand my plight. Celebrating my darkest moments says more about you than it will ever say about me. I have always been misunderstood, and this chapter of my life is no different. But I will answer to God, not imperfect strangers who've never walked a step in my shoes. I will keep my head up and my peace and focus as I continue to grow as a mother, a wife, and a woman. Chantel Christie. Okay, I'm about to play the clip. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go.
No. You look good.
That's what you came to do?
I came to listen instead of talk.
When we were in Vegas, did you not talk about Brandy to me the whole time?
Shanny, first of all,
These are rhetorical
Okay.
yes or no questions.
before we even start talking about these other broads, let's
That's what
talk
I'm
about
here to
me
do.
and you. When we decided to sit down,
We
was
didn't
to
decide
see-
anything.
Okay.
I decided to sit down.
Chantel.
You've been around me on 3 separate occasions, and you walked away like a cowardly lion every single time. That's the truth.
What I will not deal with is
I don't. You
I
can
didn't
get up
come
and
to
go at
argue,
any time.
and I will
didn't
not
either.
listen.
And I'm not going to tolerate your disrespect
Okay,
either. I'm
well-
not afraid of you. You're not going to
Oh my
police what
God,
I
my
say.
daughter is so
I'm
much
not
like me.
15, 16
Okay,
year old
okay,
Chantel. You
okay.
can't bully.
Hi, Dana.
All right, let's continue.
I'm not going to
Okay.
stop, and I'm not going to let up. And I'm
Well,
going to
guess
speak
what
the
I
truth
want
to
you to do?
every
I want
single
you to
time. I
get
have
up.
zero respect
I want
for
you to get up and leave my
Zero
room.
respect for
Get
you.
up and leave my room.
Zero
Okay,
respect for
bye-bye.
you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank
Just
you.
leave. You look very
Thank you
cute.
for wasting my time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, girl.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night, girl.
Bye-bye.
You
I
have
will.
a good night, girl.
Good night, sweetie.
Let me just pause it for a second, just so I won't get flagged. Did you hear in the first clip where she said, I'm not afraid of you. You will not bully me. You cannot police my words. You can't make me say what you want me to say. I'm just throwing that in there. Here we go.
Good night.
Be well.
Good night. I
Seek
will.
help.
That's a much better exit.
You right.
Good night.
You right. And you
So this didn't, nothing bothered Jackie until she said, you're a terrible mother. Did y'all peep that? Watch this. Nothing triggered Jackie up until this point.
think you look better? Do you
Bye-bye.
think you look better? Do you think that you fixed the situation?
No, I don't.
So Jackie's still unbothered?
You're sitting here looking
I don't.
stupid.
I don't.
Look how you
Still unbothered?
I
look
don't.
as a mother, Jackie.
Boom! When that motherless daughter said, look how you look as a mother. That's when Jackie decided to physically engage. If you understand the psychological warfare that's happening. That's when she decided to physically engage. Y'all are looking at the push and the punch. You got to look up what leads to that. And when people actually hit a switch to say, okay, let's go. This was the moment Jackie decided it's whatever. Not when she swung. This moment.
If you don't
Look how
get
you look as a mother.
Get out of my room.
Don't touch
Jenny,
me.
I will not.
Don't. Bitch, I'll knock you out.
Not only did Jackie punch her daughter, she said, bitch, I'll knock you out. That was not her. Jackie, I don't know what Jackie was fighting in that moment. Bitch, I'll knock you out. That's why I asked you, how many of you going there with your own child? We were so busy worried about the push. You got to look at the total package. The bitch, I'll knock, bitch, hate, rage between the two. Let's continue.
Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
Bitch, you
Let me go.
You hear her. Call her mom. You dumbass bitch. Hate, jealousy, envy, and rage on both sides.
Let me go. No, you guys
you
have to
put your hands on me?
Let
That's
me
the
go.
end of it. That's the end.
You
Sure.
stop.
All right. It's a lot. Here's Takari. Takari came out. Look at this nasty web cycle of abuse, toxicity. Every woman in this saga, they're all mothers. They're all adult now. They're all adults. They all have children to look after. And they're all badly, badly damaged and bruised like a piece of fruit. Like bad fruit in the produce department. And when you think about how carefully you pick your fruit, don't none of us want dented, black, dark apples, right? So when I say badly bruised, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Takari is a mother. Chantel is a mother. Jackie is a mother. And Takari comes out and says she doesn't even know our mom. If she did, she would only try to protect her. She didn't deserve to be done like this on her platform. That's all I have to say. Look at the web, the psychological breakdown of Takari, the older sister, aligning aligning the responsibility to Chantel that even as a child, your job is to protect our mama. It's not the mom's job to protect. It's not the father's job to protect. But if you really knew mama, your job is to protect her. How many of you agree with that? Whose job is it to protect? Is it the parent's job to protect the children? Or is it the children's job to protect the parent? I'm going to let y'all work that out in the chat. Moniece got in it. Moniece says, now Takari, you doing a lot, sis. At one point, this was you, and we all defended you too. You was hollering neglect, and that you too were a victim of Jackie. So I guess I'm a little confused. If you're not going to talk about it, don't talk about it. Because you did go through the comments and respond to dang near everybody to talk about it. And it was your mom first. Now it's your sister. So if you're going to address anyone, address your sister. Because let's also be clear, was it not you that posted something after one of the episodes aired and nobody reported on it until your sister addressed you publicly, just as you done her publicly, but we never saw your response to her response to your initial public shade. Takari Lee comes back and goes at Moniece and said, everybody keeps saying that they are confused. That's because it's my business. Also, you've never seen me attack my mom. The only reason you know about me is because I was spoke about by the cast for years. What you saw was me defend myself against claims of being a con artist and a scammer for having a GoFundMe for my child being hurt. The internet and the show took my son's accident and made it about a donation. I didn't bring this info to y'all. My book was my side. My book was my side of what y'all seen going on. Another thing, I said what I said. My mom wouldn't be out here facing the world alone if they all left or whatever. I did not speak on the fight. That's their issue. I addressed what I wanted to. Have a good day, sis. Child, they kept going back and forth. I'm not going to read all of this. You can go find it. So Takari and Moniece had a showdown. And then, let me see what this one is. I think this is a slow-mo.
Girl, stop. Do you hear yourself? Stop. I need to clear.
Okay, hold on. There was a slow-mo, but you get the picture. So let's go. We're going to go ahead and open up the lines. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Let's be respectful. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people that want to come up. It's not a panel discussion. Once you're done, I'm going to drop everybody down. So thank you, everybody. The link is now in the chat. I'm going to listen. Okay. I'm going to listen. I may push back every now and then if you got a solid argument. Sometimes you have solid arguments and I want to push back. I want to explore a little bit more. Okay. And if I feel like you got something, even if I disagree and it's good, I may push back because it's good or it's different. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I see a couple. I'm going to let everybody come. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Oh, I need to pin the link to the chat. Let me pin the link. Oh, man, a lot of beeps back there. Give me 1 second, y'all. I see you. Let me pin the link to the chat. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, man, that's a lot. All right, here we go. Here we go, everybody. We're going to start with Fruit Gummy. I see everybody. The studio is full. When Fruit Gummy goes, we're going to drop her down. Y'all keep trying to get in. Welcome, Fruit Gummy. You have the floor. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Thank you so much for hosting this, Queen. And I am in agreement with all of your stance. And I'm glad I finally see someone that has the perspective that I've had. People keep saying about, well, oh, Jackie's a mother, Chantel was wrong. But again, they're starting just from the push. Let's look at the genesis. what would even happen in that relationship where Chantel would even feel she even had the access or right to do something like that? It stems from her parents not protecting her. Let's look at the dynamic and relationship that Jackie has with her son and even her husband. She gloats about them, but both her daughters have a toxic and a traumatic experiences that they can say come directly from Jackie. And I'll say this before I close. It is a big difference between mothering and being a bully. And a lot of people don't know the difference. And that's why there's a lot of unhealed people walking around.
All right. Thank you, Fruit Gummy. I'm going to drop you down. Excellent point. Excellent point. Fruit Gummy's coming down. Listen, if I drop you down, I may bring some of y'all back up a little bit later. Welcome, Mel NYC. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Queen, I'm enjoying your show while I'm at, I'm enjoying your show today.
Thank you.
You know what? When you broke down about Jackie and her mother and her grandmother, that made me think of the beautiful, actually the challenging book, Beloved. And the audience may want to look into that. That's a really good book about generational curses and the trauma that people, especially the Black women, have gone through in this country and stuff like that. But I just say what the other caller said is that kids don't create toxicity in families. It's usually the parents that does that. So Jackie does have a lot to be accountable for, and she has to do a lot of soul searching and really try to figure out exactly why is it that her daughters are having so much difficulties in their relationship with her, and why do they feel like they've been hurt so much by her. And that's just what it is. Whether it was the fight or the physicality that happened, Jackie has to take responsibility for the etymology, for the start, for the beginning of this toxicity with her daughters. That's just what I have to. That's just what I say.
All right. Well, thank you for keeping it light, short, and sweet, Mel. We appreciate you. We're going to drop Mel down and let's go to Biz. You have the floor. Welcome.
Hi, Queen. Thank you for having me. I wanted to say I agree with everything that you said so far. I believe it was both of their both of their faults, but like the gentleman just said, Chantel had to get it from somewhere. Unfortunately, I think she came on the show. I don't watch it. She came on the show to try to force Jackie to be accountable for it, because she's still mentally that child that was rejected or neglected or whatever has happened. And Jackie has that wall up. She has a hard exterior, and it's almost like when she started saying you're not a good mother, it looks like she thought she was going to spew some other stuff that she actually had done. She doesn't want that out because the other daughter had already put some of that stuff out. So unfortunately, even though that's her mother and it hurts, and that's her parent, doesn't matter what she's done to her, she still loves her. She's going to have to just love her from afar. And she cannot get that closure from her mother. She's going to have to do the shadow work on herself to get that energy at a minimum, get it to a minimum, or to get it completely off of her. So if she has any children, she doesn't keep that energy around her and have it around her children, so she can attract that same type of energy. She's just going to have to love her from afar, and I hate it for her.
All right. Well, thank you. Biz. Listen, excellent points. We're going to the next caller. SD, welcome. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Hi, Queen. Thanks for letting me up. I am Chantel. That's why this resonated with me so hard. I have a narcissistic mother, a toxic mother. I'm in therapy for it right now. So when people say, hey, you don't know what trauma is, you don't know what this is, a mother that allows step men to come in my life. I was raised by my grandmother. I have the whole story. I'm still going through this stuff. Okay, took control of my kids, like how Jackie was wanting to do, put CPS in my life, telling lies. It's all proven. I know what Chantel is going through, but guess what? At the end of the day, I'm seeking therapy. I'm not going to go as a new hire to my mom's job and cause chaos and cause other people to turn against my mom for stuff that's deeply rooted in what we're going through. That's my only problem that I have with this whole situation. I'm not Team Jackie at all because I'm Chantel, but I just don't appreciate the way Chantel is doing it, because it doesn't seem like the true trauma that a true trauma person that went through, because the therapists say you need to stay away from your mom. Don't need to be around your mom, but she's going right into the fire. Like she has an agenda to burn her, and that's not the way to get healing. And it seems like an agenda. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for letting me up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming up, SD. And listen, these are people that are sharing. Thank you, SD. Dazzle, you have the floor. What are your thoughts?
Great, thank you. I'm a new subscriber and I'm enjoying your channel so far.
All right. You
Okay,
got it, mama.
so what my thoughts are is that I really feel like that at some point you are an adult. Okay, so at some point you have to recognize that whatever's happened in the past, the ink is dry. If you're still going through trauma, it is up to you. It is your responsibility, not nobody else, to seek therapy and heal. I also feel like it was kind of oppy how you knew that the girls on the show did not like your mother, but yet you made sure to go to them and air your mom's business to them, and that was never going to help. So I kind of feel like the last caller said, she came on there for something other than healing, and it was kind of like it made her look really bad. And the last thing is, I don't care about the trauma part, but as an adult, at some point, respect is owed to a dog. You didn't have to push your mom. And I get it, her mom didn't have to hit her, but she really didn't have to push her mother. She could have just left. And that was all on Chantel. This all looks like Chantel needs to go to therapy.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Thank you, Dazzle. She said neither one of them. You didn't have to push and mama didn't have to swing. Hey, that's a good point. Simple yet stylish. Welcome. You have the floor. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Hi, Queen. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to the Palace as well. So I only watched the first 2 episodes of this season, and then I watched this episode that we're talking about. And the whole time I was watching it, I just kept saying to myself, Chantel, I wish you would walk away. If you're speaking your truth, if this is your truth, this is what you went through, what you experienced, walk away. Because I remember a few weeks ago, my pastor was speaking about forgiveness. And sometimes, not even sometimes, all the time, the forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. So all this coming on your mum's, because this is her mum's platform, coming on your mum's platform, coming on the show, turning the other cast members against your mum, speaking negatively, going back and forth with your mum. How is this feeding into your healing? It's not. It's going to make things worse. And so my whole thing is, if this is what she's been through, to break that cycle, because even in her green screen, she said that, I don't know if my mum went through certain things as a child, which means she's potentially acknowledging that maybe her mum went through, I don't know if her mum has shared with her what she went through, but she did mention that, which means that she's aware of that. So if you're aware, and unfortunately your mum did not break that cycle and she's passed it on to you, but you are aware, it is down to you as an adult, as a grown woman, not only a grown woman, but also as a mother, Chantel, to break that cycle. Let it stop here so that you don't pass it on to your children. You can't force your mum to apologize to you. You can't force your mum to acknowledge where she went wrong. You can see there's a lot of pain and hurt in Jackie's eyes, in her face. You can clearly see it. Us viewers, we can see it. And you can see that she's not ready to address everything. So Chantel, just leave her where she is and you move on. You heal on your own. You don't need your mum to come on you with that on that journey. And that's all.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. And they love your ex, and that's simple yet stylish. She comes up often and kind of tag teams the conversation with us. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, simple yet stylish. Yvette Robinson, you're up next. What are your thoughts on today's conversation? Remember, 45 seconds, everybody.
How you doing, Queen? And I thank you for allowing me to help share your platform. I just want to say this, and I'm gonna put a twist to it. Yes, both was wrong, definitely, and it's been going on, and her husband know it. But my twist to this is, I'm finna go to Shawnee because she should have first lady. You shouldn't have never allowed this to air. This was too much. This don't have anything to do with basketball wife. And really, to be honest with everybody, Jackie is the only basketball wife. So I don't know what this supposed to be going on, or what Shawnee wanted to do with this season, but it was definitely out of order. It was very tacky. It's beginning to be very low budget, and Shawnee should have edit this out. This was just too personal and this was just too raw, and it had nothing to do with basketball wives. None of them do. None of the ladies do. So I don't know what's going on, but go back, both of them was wrong and both of them need counseling. And thank you so much for allowing me to share your.
Oh, Thank you. That was Yvette Robinson, y'all. Excellent point. She says, Shawnee, I am looking at you as an executive producer. When you come in and recognize what is too much and too far. I'm going to have to agree with Yvette. I feel like, Shawnee, you dropped the ball. You are a first lady. A part of your job in the ministry is healing and addressing. And you do that and you cover people when they're not strong enough to cover themselves. The minimum, the least you could have or should have had was a family therapist. You should have brought in a family therapist from jump if you knew there was smoke and drama between Chantel and her mother. Now, nevertheless, always I put a private chat in the back for you. I guess you didn't see it. Your device is not connected. I can't even click on you. It's your turn. So I can't even click on you because your device failed to connect. So I'm going to kick you out the studio. You're going to have to refresh and come back. Okay. Nevertheless, refresh, come back, and you get to go next. Side Eye Sage to 7. You got 45 seconds. Welcome to today's conversation. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Queen and Palace. I'm going to keep this real quick. I think some people are triggered by this conversation for a variety of reasons. The first is that they see themselves in Jackie. They were not good mothers. They were abusers. They were their child's first bully. And I see a lot of that playing out in how this conversation is being had. And I would say to that, like, just get some therapy. Instead of windmilling for Jackie, who was not a good mom, get yourself together because you're really defending yourself. Maybe your kids are no contact. So that's my first point. The second point is, not Evelyn, Shawnee has consistently, irresponsibly had conversations about bullying. This is the same person that allowed Tammy to snatch people's purses, to bully someone on an island resort. This show is doing what it's always done. And for Chantel, I just really hope she finds healing, because I could see how revenge would seem like the sensible thing to do when somebody has really hurt you, especially somebody like your mother. But burning her platform to the ground is not going to be the get back she thinks it is. Until she heals, she should stay away from her mother, because Jackie's not going to change. That's it.
Oh, excellent points. Oh, I think Side Eye the Sage threw some rocks in the crowd. And they say, if you throw rocks in the crowd, somebody gonna holler. Somebody gonna holler. She says, some of you are the bully. Some of you are the bully. Some of you are windmilling for yourselves under the guise of windmilling for Jackie because you may have been a bully to your own children. Is that true? Hershey 85, welcome. You got 45 seconds, Queen. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Hi, Queen. It's been a little minute. But yes, with this whole thing, I just think it's just disgusting and deplorable at the sense of, yes, Jackie probably wasn't the best mom in the world. However, none of them really are the best mamas in the world. Okay. And for them to use this as a storyline with all the ladies was, especially when they don't even want nobody to talk on their daughter or their family, was just outright wrong. And Chantel is Jackie. That's the gag of it all. And that's the reason why she's so upset. And I'm sorry. I'm just old school like that. My daughter would have put her hands on me. She would have got rocked on national TV in front of the president, in front of anybody. That's just the bottom line. I don't agree with Jackie being a narcissist and not being really there for her kids, but you cannot build your life on hurts from the past. You got to get over it. You got to get some therapy. You got to get some help. And this should have been done off camera, period. And that's all I have to say about it.
All right. Listen. That's Hershey. She said her daughter would have got rocked. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Hershey, they say change that battery. They say change that battery in the background. Let me go to Janae. Welcome. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I feel like both of them were wrong. I feel like they're not listening to one another. I feel like they're both triggered by each other. And I feel like this was something that should have been discussed off camera. This should have never been brought to camera. And the fact that it got to the level that it got, it should have never been aired. Neither one of them were protected. You're sitting amongst your mother's enemies, talking about your mother and letting them disrespect your mother. And then the mother is not protecting her child. So nobody's getting anywhere. It's just getting to the point where it's so toxic to where sometimes we have to learn how to protect our own peace, and we just have to love people where they're at and love them from a distance. And I feel like until Chantel gets her healing and what she needs to leave Jackie alone. And until Jackie is ready to acknowledge what she has done to her children, then she should not engage in a relationship with them, and she needs to respect their boundaries, period.
All right. I got it. We got Sexy RN. Welcome, Sexy RN.
Thanks for having me. I'm gonna say the first thing is that I airing this to me. I'm tired of seeing Black women in such a negative light on TV. But besides that, I'm gonna be open. I was Chantel and I was Jackie. Now I'm not a narcissist. I went through it with my mom. She never admitted anything to me. Me and my children have been through a healing process years and years ago because things are patterns. Sometimes we repeat things that we don't even want to repeat because we're so busy trying to fight it. What I will say is if you're going through it, stop seeking validation from your abusers or your narcissists. Don't do that because they're never going to give it to you. You have to do the work to heal yourself, especially if you're an adult, because your life is going to be a mess. You're going to do it to your own children. So at this point, I'm looking at Chantel because I want her to do better for her children. It happened to her. She doesn't have to continue the pattern. She can heal. She can break the cycle like we did, like me and my sons did. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Excellent point. That was Sexy RN. She's going to drop down. I'm going to go to the next caller. Sam, welcome. What are your thoughts?
Hi. I mentioned in the comments earlier that I was a foster parent for over 10 years. I dealt with a young lady who happens to be my family member's kids, and she was a lot like Chantel from a very young age. I was told by school counselors and even family members that she's very vindictive. She concocts things, and my brother said she'll have someone going to jail with lies that she would make up. It reminds me a lot of Chantel. I'm not saying Jackie's innocent. I believe her oldest daughter that she did go through that drama, but I also believe the oldest daughter when she said Chantel is making these things up. The young lady that I raised, she would make up a fantasy that wasn't real. And what I believe what went wrong with Jackie is you can put too much in the wrong child and that be the child that'll turn on you. I believe that Chantel's smart. She follows what the crowd say, and then she'll change her answer to sway the crowd. And when she realized people wasn't on her side as she thought they would be, she manipulated the people and started calling her mother narcissist and different things like that. One thing I give Jackie credit is when she was on Carlos' show or when the ladies would try to antagonize the situation, she will also say, I don't want to speak on it, to stand down. She asked Evelyn and them to stand down and not provoke the situation. And here's the thing, what I don't understand about Chantel, she went out of her way to maliciously try to tear down her mother. She's very calculated, and that comes off because you were spoiled and entitled. I don't believe her. And I've been around, and people may say, oh, you believe when a person screams victim. No, that's not always true because some people scream victim and they're not a victim.
All right.
I'm very
we got it. We are at
good at
time,
these
but
things.
you were cooking. Thank you so much, Sam. And she said she's a foster mom. Listen, and she said she's had experience with personalities similar to Chantel. Not to discount anything that Chantel is or isn't saying, but sometimes that abuse. Remember, we talked about that. When kids don't receive therapy, they can indeed become abusive and predators. And that's a perfect example of what she gave. Gemini Goddess, welcome. Tamika, you're up next. Gemini, you have 45 seconds. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I have been tongue tussling, swinging in the air, and keyboard gangstering this whole debacle. It's a mess. Jackie did something to those kids because to me, nobody could just act like that and nothing had happened. That oldest daughter said it, and then this daughter is saying it. Now the other daughter is acting as if she has Stockholm syndrome, and she's, oh no, mommy didn't do this or mommy didn't do that. Jackie did something, and Jackie knows she did something, and she didn't want that girl to say nothing. That's the reason why Jackie jumped off the couch. And for the lady before that, she didn't raise that child. That child came into her home. That's not something she bore. So you can't say what another kid from another family or a kid that wasn't raised on love, how they will act in if you bring them into your home. So
That would be the difference between Jackie's child and a foster child. Those kids go through a lot before they even get to you. So of course they would be like that. That's it. That's all.
Excellent point. Oh, y'all are cooking today. We just listening. We taking it all in. Keep going, everybody. Tamika, welcome. What are your thoughts? You have 45 seconds. Tamika, you have the mic. Let's
Thank
do a
you
mic.
for having me. Can you hear me?
Okay, yep, we can hear you. Go ahead, Tamika.
Can you hear me? Hello.
We got you.
Awesome. Look, I don't know what exactly went on in I don't know what exactly went on in Jackie's home because I wasn't there. But I wonder, does Shawnee have people like Jackie and her daughter doing scenarios like this to show what go on inside of Black family homes in real life? That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. All right. That's an excellent point. Tamika said, listen, I wonder if Shawnee is utilizing this platform to circumvent or reestablish some of the things that are really going on in Black communities. Carla, welcome. You have the floor. What are your thoughts?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Hey,
You
thank
got
you,
it.
QueenShiba. Thank you so very much for having me on the palace. I wanted to say, through our inability to accept personal responsibility, we create our own problems. And for me, I look at it as Jackie has a lot of unresolved issues that have happened in her life. And Jackie may not have been the best mother, but this is where I understand her at. Jackie can't give what she didn't have. We don't know. We say she was brought up in foster care. She was brought up in this. But Jackie can only give to those children what she had. If she didn't have it to give, she couldn't give it to them. And did anybody teach her? Was anybody there in her life? Now, for me, I understand about going through trauma. You know, I went to an EMDR and I was 54. I'm 61 now. And I went through a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying? But accountability, she needs to take accountability for what she did not give them. Just say, I'm sorry. They need some therapy. And for Chantel, a suggestion to her is that you may not ever get the answers that you want from your mother. Honey, but you can go get your own help because healing is for her. It's not for her mother. And that's all I have.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully stated. Man, I tell you, y'all, we got some smart people that be coming over here. Very thoughtful. They get your mind wondering. Kira, welcome. What are your thoughts? Rosalind, you're up next.
Hi, Queen. Hi, Mods. Hi, Palace. I wanted to come on because I have a different take. I'm glad this episode was aired because as a community, we needed to see the ugly sides of ourselves and confront the issues that we really like to sweep under the carpet. So for me, I'm really glad that this is the topic that we're discussing today because for those of us in the chat who happen to be Jackie, we get a front row seat to see how our failure to heal ourselves really hurts our kids. And if we happen to be Chantel, we get to witness that healing is your own responsibility. And sometimes for your own peace and for your own safety, you really have to love your family from afar. That's it.
Oh, y'all, man, I told you we got some smart people over here. Straight to the point, clear and concise. Listen, Rosalind, what are your thoughts? Welcome.
Hello, Queen in the chat. Thank you for having me. I understand Chantel's point of view because I've had a difficult relationship with my mom growing up.
Your audio, hold on.
However, I would never.
Rosalind, I had to mute you. Your audio is real choppy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you have any devices playing in the background? And you have an echo, so make sure you don't have any devices playing in the background. Are you using a Bluetooth AirPod? Let me unmute you. Unmute yourself real quick. I muted you. Let's do a mic check for Rosalind. Unmute your mic. I put you on mute because it was real choppy and real bad. Rosalind. Let's go to Sharon. We're going to let Rosalind get that together. Sharon, what are your thoughts? Welcome.
My thoughts is that the
And you grew up in a home knowing over time, you got older and older, and who your mother is, and you know where your mother history is. It's your job as now an adult to go to therapy and counseling. And the therapist counselor will tell you bring the other parent in, bring your parent into the meeting to have a conversation. If regardless if your mom want to go or don't, and say that she don't want to go, you had to understand that's who your mother is. You can't change her. You might not like it, but you can't, live in that fantasy world trying to change who she is. Now the fight. Now you know your mother, and you did what you did. Why are you surprised that she hit you? I'm looking at girls who grew up in that kind of family. The father, he's working. So he probably came up thinking, he's working, the mom takes care of the kids. And more likely, Jackie had nannies to raise the kids. So my thing to the daughters, they need to go to therapy. They need to deal with who their mother is, accept who she is, or you let her go. That's all.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm gonna drop down so I don't interrupt the show. I'll come
Hear you.
back.
I can hear you. I
Oh,
can
you
hear
can
you.
hear me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. My thoughts, my opinions on this topic is Jackie Christine got away with what goes on in this house, stays in this house for a long time until her daughter was presented to express herself. I'm speaking from experience. In the household, there was a lot of violence and chaos. There was a revolving door, and there were some things that I had um, adapted or claimed as a habit for myself, right? Not knowing that, okay, because mama did it, you know, this was actually wrong. So when we think about our parents are our role models, right? They are our first teachers. My mom experienced abuse and things like that, but I noticed when she got with a guy that had decent money, it was shut up, you not about to mess up what I got going on. And there were even times where she threatened, I'm good. Me and the newborn baby and my husband, we will leave y'all and we will go live somewhere else. So when you talk about childhood trauma and things like that, and especially with SA, my mom had been SA'd. My sister had been SA'd. When I went to my mom and told her and everything, my sister lied and they made it seem like I was a liar. So that created trauma in my house, for me, for standing up, telling the truth, and then having somebody say, oh, this didn't happen. I didn't tell you that. Like you, my sister, I wouldn't make this lie up. But it just goes deep with untreated trauma that mama may have been through as a child growing up. She never got help from it. I watched my mom try to commit suicide about 3 times in my life. So it's like I felt I was the parent at certain points in my life when my mom couldn't be an adult and she couldn't be the mom that I needed her to be. Since then, I have went through therapy, counseling, EMDR. It helped me process some trauma. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to go in for another a treatment because of family trauma. Things are coming back up. When you talk about, oh, come to the family reunion, I'm not coming to the family reunion. Why am I celebrating with people that hurt me? So I had to make a decision as an adult that I was going to protect my peace and I was going to let the family enjoy their family reunion without me. Those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings. I said what I said.
All right. And that was Queen Tosa sharing a very personable story of how abused child, adverse childhood, how adverse childhood experiences do impact children well into adulthood, and gave you specific examples, and people are just saying they're sorry that you went through that. Thank you, Tulsa, for coming up and sharing your thoughts on this basketball saga as well as your personal experiences. All things Helen G, let's give it another try. Go ahead and hit mute and see if you let's do a mic check. All things Helen G. There you go.
I'm here. Finally.
Okay, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Hey, ladies. Hey. So I have 2 points. The first is, first of all, thank you, Queen, for allowing me to speak on your panel. I just find it rather interesting that everyone is giving so much grace to Jackie, because at the end of the day, she's a parent, and Chantel is crying out to her, and she's not listening. She's so full of her own narcissism, and I believe Chantel. She's full of narcissism. Jackie is, in that she's not listening, and she would never listen. She doesn't listen to anyone. And she's creating this dynamic between mother and daughter that her daughter has to compete with her. Now, regardless of whether or not Chantel came on the show or not, Jackie knew she was coming on the show. She knew it. And it doesn't matter whether she knew it or not. She's on the show, and they have to create a storyline. The problem is all of these things were happening but behind the scenes. They're just being brought through to us in front of the scene. But I think it's rather interesting that everyone finds so much fault in Chantel and not in Jackie. Jackie's the parent. She should be the one that should create a better environment for her daughter, because at the end of the day, they have to be able to talk and communicate. And it's very obvious that Chantel cannot communicate with her mother. It's very obvious. And she's competing to even get her mother to communicate with her. She can see her mom have compassion for everyone else, but not her in certain situations. But that's all I have to say.
All right. And thank you for your patience. I know you had a little bit of technical difficulties, but that was all things Helen G. And she said, I'm just shocked. Some of y'all, like, it's just, you have all of this amazing empathy for Jackie and none for Chantel. Rosalind, welcome. What are your thoughts?
Hello, I'm back again, Queen. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And thank you to everyone who shared their stories. I had a very difficult childhood with my mom as well. And I had to make a very deliberate choice to distance myself from my mom. We have a okay relationship, but I have been in therapy for quite a few years. And at one point, my therapist actually said to me that he's surprised that I even have any relationship with my mom at all. Parents who cannot take responsibility for what they have done for their children, I think that in many times it will never happen. You'll never get what you want and what you deserve. And I think at some point you just have to distance yourself from that person just for your own mind's sake and for your own offspring. Because if not, you're going to carry that resentment. And although you want that, in many cases you won't get it. And that's all I had to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming up. I'm going to drop the link one more time. If there's anybody else that would like to add really quick, and the studio was full, I'll take 3 more callers. If not, I am going to jump into some of the comments that I highlighted and I would like to feature on today's segment. And with that being said, let me go to my super chat. Money
comes to me, flowing effortlessly. Money comes to me, comes to me. Money comes to me, flowing effortlessly. Money comes to me. Money.
Y'all, I'm talking to people that have not came up. I'm finna drop y'all. Both of y'all that just clicked the link. Let me kick y'all out this studio. I ain't gonna even call y'all names. Both of y'all have already been up here. I'm dropping it for people that haven't had a chance. I love y'all, but let me let me get the ones that haven't came up, y'all. Let's give them an opportunity. I love my people. They said, shoot, we finna come back up there. But listen, all right. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Thank you, Lady D. Hannah, for the $5 super sticker. You says it's going to be a dad's day for Chantel when she realizes her father didn't do his job as a man. Protect. Listen, Doug. Ooh, that's a whole different topic. Call me darling. Thank you for the $5. Listen, the $5 super chat says there are so many Jackies with the same behavior. Girl, can we talk about it? There are so many Jackies with the same behaviors. They will never get it. Even if the fight never happened, these issues will still remain the same. I just may have to leave this one up there. Let me see if there's any other super chats. Coco Lee. This is one of the. Okay, you know what? Let me go to Gently Coy. But Coco Lee says in the history of basketball wives, Jackie has never hit any of these women with such intentional hatred. She's mad Chantel is exposing the truth. She's a narcissistic, abusive parent, and Doug knows it. Ain't nothing worse, y'all, than allowing somebody in your house to pick on your kids, even your adult kids. And you turning the other cheek just because it's easier, and you may feel some kind of way about that adult child. I see y'all are coming in. Just as a reminder, everybody, we got 45 seconds. Let me bring up that there's a couple more people that want to get in. Gently Coy, welcome.
Hey guys, hey QueenShiba, hey to the palace. Okay, so really quickly, I just find this to be very sad because this is a mother and a daughter, but also I see this as an opportunity for Chantel to get put herself on this platform. I guess you could say catapult herself into the basketball wives franchise because she is married to a basketball player. But also, I do think that they do have a tumultuous relationship, but I don't think that Chantel is as hurt and as bothered by it as we like to lead on. I don't know about you guys, but when people hurt me, I don't go around these people. I stay away from people that hurt me, especially if I can't work something out with them. I don't think she's that hurt. She's hanging around her mom. She's hanging around her mom's friends slash enemies at the same time and going back and forth to her mom's friends and enemies. And it's just a lot. But Chantel's in the right place. She's in the right group. And yes, she is Jackie's child. And that's about it.
All right, we're gonna drop you down. That was Gently Coy. She says she listen. You didn't get the memo. Chantel ain't that hurt like y'all think she is. She's in the right place. And at the end of the day, water seeks its own level. Simp God, what you got? Welcome, Simp God. Simp God is here. You got the floor.
What's up, Queen? You see how that works. I'm not gonna be up here for too long, but I'm not taking either side either, right? I like Jackie, I like Chantel too, but I just feel like you should never put your hands on your mother. Now, Jackie, an older woman, you know what I'm saying? There's really no reason to be beating on her, and at the same time, Jackie, I can't really say you shouldn't hit your kids. That's her daughter. I feel like I'd be out of line to say that, but that's how I feel. Like you punching your daughter with a ball fist is low key crazy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they both was wrong. That's how I feel, Queen.
Hold on. Not only punching your daughter with a ball fist, but in the midst of a bitch, that's how they fight in the hood and on the street. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she got no siblings, but that would have been a problem if like if one of my siblings beat on my mom, it'd have been an instant smoke. So I don't like seeing stuff like that, especially black women, you know what I'm saying? It's unbecoming. And like I said, I like Jackie. I like I think that's Doug Christie wife, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He's a legendary basketball player. Like so I don't know. I want their family to be happier. It seemed like it's a lot of commotion. My wife was telling me about on the phone. She said they got into a fight. I heard it was bad. But either way it goes, she shouldn't hit her mother back. Even if her mother smack her, you should never hit your mother. That's just what it is.
All right. That's simple. That's a man's point of. Let me ask you this real quick before you leave.
Of course.
There was also sexual trauma in this house, and I don't want to get too deep in that. What's a man's role in a marriage when it comes to, let's just say, wife and daughters don't always get along? What's a man's role in the household when you got that type of dynamic between a mother and a
To
daughter?
diffuse the tension. Because at any given time, like, my wife can go off. It's always best for me to just calm everything down. So in my household, if they get into an argument, which they never really do, but if they are, I diffuse it, maybe go get some food or something like that. Split the two up, go get some food and come back and reassess the situation. I never let them fight though. That's toxic.
All right. Thank you, Simp God. We appreciate you coming, y'all. You heard it. He's like, listen, his job as a man is to diffuse the situation in the household. Coretta, you were up next, but you dropped down. All right. So let me go to we're going to close the lines up. The last caller just dropped down.
All right, Palace, the Super Chat Squad is in the building. We appreciate you, baby. The Super Chats are fire. Get in your bag.
That's a lot of money.
All right, Sexy RN came back with a $20 super P. What did I say? 20 Ps. Narcissism is a personality disorder. They will narc until their last breath. They will not validate you. Work on yourself. Leave that person in the throw up they live in and live your best life with no apologies. Listen, girl, that's a whole spoken word right there. Let's go. Here we go. The next super chats, all things Helen G. Thank you. We appreciate the $2 super 2-piece and a pepper. She says Jackie is the problem, and we can all see it. Ooh, you're gonna make some folks mad out there, child. That's riding for Jackie. Coretta, you have the floor. What are your thoughts?
Hello, hi. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You good to
Okay.
go?
Oh, how you doing? It's nice to greet you all. It's nice to be here. I'm here by way of Armand. I just want to say that, and I
Oh,
love
okay.
you and your content. So thank you for all you do and what you're continuing to do. I just would like to say I have no dog in the fight. I'm not on either of their side because I feel like it was just a sad situation all around. But from my own personal experience with my own children, well, one in particular, it's hard as like nobody get, we don't never really, we're all imperfect, right? Nobody really ever knows like how to really do it. It's trial and error. So for my child, when my child kept approaching me about issues, it was hard for me to receive it because he was coming so disrespectful. And I don't, in the last episode, what I saw, it seemed like to me, Jackie was just like, okay, you want to do this. I'm going to sit down and let you have it. But it was hard for me, in my opinion. It was probably hard for her to receive it because the girl was just being so disrespectful and coming in so hot and heavy. And we parents, but we are also human. And, I feel like she just didn't know how to receive that. And that was me with my own child. It was just like, okay, I'm willing to hear you. I'm willing to apologize and be accountable and right my wrongs. Because just because I'm your parent doesn't mean I'm right. And I did it right. Right. And so whatever you're saying I did, I'm not invalidating your feelings, but you can't come at me all disrespectful and all boasting up like you're ready to throw some bows and all that stuff. Nah, we got to revisit this another day. I will shut you down every time. So me and my child, we did therapy and all that stuff together, and we in a much better place. So I just feel like they should solve these issues before coming to the show. I know it could be great for people to see, but for me, in my own personal opinion, just from Coretta, I just felt it was so sad. It was so sad. Just that girl pushing her mother like that. Like, come on, you can't do that and expecting for your mom to hear you because your mom is a person. She's her own individual. And like other people have been saying, what about what she's been through in her childhood? Like all that coming at me, rah-rah, could have provoked some things in her. Like everybody got issues. So we need to figure out better ways to resolve. And I just want to just say that because it really broke my heart to see that just from my own, things that I've been through with my children. You know what I mean? So.
Right. Well, no, I got it. And that's Coretta. Thank you so much, Coretta, for coming up. And she said, listen, this is a tender topic, tender situation all around with her just watching it as a mom and then also experiencing when kids and parents don't get along. It's a lot. And I think some of you are saying it's too much. And Shawnee should have never said it. And then some of you are saying, wait, hold up. I'm glad Shawnee did say it because we need to see it. We need to talk about it. How can we move forward if we don't acknowledge it? If we don't acknowledge it. So listen, I want to highlight a couple of things. Coco Lee says Chantel involved other women because Jackie has been lying on and to them for years. Good point. What y'all think about that? I'm highlighting some of the comments that I've seen. Tennessee girl, I'm gonna hand this one to you. Simple yet stylish. Tennessee girl says, "What the fuck does Chantel needs healing from? What was she so deprived of?"
I sorry, Chantel. I explained this to Tennessee girl. Chantel claims that Jackie abused her as a child. She said Jackie would say stuff like, oh, if you don't tidy up your room, daddy's going to kick you down the stairs when he comes home. And she also said that she went through some sexual abuse as a child. So if that's the case, that's what she needs healing from. She needs to move on from that, but she can't wait on her mum's accountability or apology in order to move on. She just needs to move on for herself.
Good, good. So Tennessee, excellent breakdown. Thank you. Tennessee girl, I hope that helps. Just in case you missed it, we kind of highlighted that earlier, but you may have missed it. And Simple Yet Stylish was able to do a great job bringing you up to speed. Sam's point of view says, why did Chantel move in the same building as Jackie? I think let me tell you what I believe. I believe there may have been a time period. Y'all, it happens in real life when you're not getting along with the parent. And there are times and seasons and phases when it feels like you are moving in the right direction. It feels like you can exhale on both sides. And I think that's the part where that super chat came in. And that person, who was it? There was a super chat that I read, and she said, that's the thing with the narcissist. And I don't know. She said, a narc will narc until they take their last breath, just when you thought it was safe and you can move into the same building. Kids do that, even when they're adults. They're constantly vying for their parents' love, attention, and affection, right? I want to be close to you. We weren't a family. You weren't there. Moving in the same building. I'm rolling out some of the psychological effects of abandonment. So I'll move into the same building because it's going to feel like a family. And even though I couldn't have my mother, now my children may have access to my mom. It'll feel good. I can imagine us cooking and cleaning and going and get pedicures and eating, just like we should have done when I was a kid. That's my explanation of it. That's my rundown. I hope it helps. Doesn't mean I'm right, but that's probably a big reason. Simone Wealthy says Shan is big grown. Her healing is her responsibility. She must be real and not manipulative and vindictive. Whew. Wow, y'all tough over here. Queen of Premier says, is it me or is it in our culture? They are hard on the girls than the boys. Simple yet stylish. What are your thoughts?
I think I have to agree with that based on things that I've experienced, not firsthand, but just around me, other Black girls around me, other Black African girls around me. That first generation that came to the Western world as parents, they are definitely more strict, more tough on the girls. They expect them to be in survival mode at a very, very young age. And they tend to dismiss a lot of things that um like young girls go through, whether it's abuse. They don't really allow them to be vulnerable. And then when they get to like that age of more maturity and things start happening, um there's animosity, there's tension between like a parent and a child. The parent doesn't understand where it comes from. So I definitely agree with that statement. I do think that they are more tough on the girls. They always put the younger girls in survival mode at a younger age than they do the boys. They expect them to mature more quicker than they do the boys as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So listen, y'all, unfortunately, I've closed the line for callers. We're wrapping up the show. I see some of you are coming in, but we just closing it up. Monique Anderson says, I'm disgusted at how many women are in favor of Jackie's actions. It speaks to a lot. It speaks to the ideology in our community. It speaks to the ideology of what some people believe that, hey, my job as a mother is individually. It speaks to who people are. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong, but what it does tell me is we got a lot of work to do, Monique. I think that's an excellent point. SDOR, who is empathizing with toxic mothers, shaking my head. You cannot look at this as a grape. This is an onion. Chantel layer happened to be rotten. Next layer may be Jackie. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's not a one and done. Hold on. But the question still lies. How did we get here? Brittany Janae, thank you. She says, sorry, I disagree. It's going to take more than going out to dinner to resolve anything that's traumatic and toxic. Yes, you're absolutely right. But that's a start. The start is to separate the two. Come on, you. Let's go to dinner. Let's talk. See? You see how I just broke that down? It's not about the dinner. It's about separating the two, switching the energy so that they don't get stuck in that hypnotic energy. And as a man, what he's saying is, I'm going to take one out. I'm going to do something. Y'all, ooh, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. If y'all don't understand the concept of removing one from the house and simply going to dinner, it's not the food. It's the separation. It's the tenderness. It's let everybody cool off. Sometimes you got to leave the environment. That's all I'm saying. Brittany Janae. Angelica Bell says, I don't agree with Chantel pushing her mom or constantly antagonizing her mom throughout the season on Basketball Wives. No matter what issues exist between a mother and daughter, putting your hands on your mom, I think that's what you were going to say, is wrong. Me personally, I wouldn't hit my mom. I've been really upset with my mom before. I can't imagine hitting her. But let me say this, and I'm going to be funny, a little humor. My mom is a little tiny thing. You know what I'm saying? My mom's a little tiny, fragile thing. And even if she swung on me, it would be like a little a little mosquito bite. Simple yet stylish. What do you think about this comment?
I agree. I would never, ever in a million years put my hands on my mother, no matter what she's done. And she's done things before to upset me or rub me the wrong way in the past. But the thought of getting physical with my mum has never, ever crossed my mind. In the same breath as well, I would never put my hands on my daughters. I have 2 daughters, and I would never put my hands on them either. I would probably be shocked, God forbid, if they were to, get physical with me. But my instant reflex wouldn't be to hit my daughters. I feel like I'm in a different headspace now. Maybe back in the day, I would have, but not now. And I just think I don't agree with Chantel putting her hands on her mum. I know that there's reasons behind everything, but that part I did not agree with at all. She should not have touched her mother.
At least not in that manner. I have to agree with you. I may touch, like, I've never aggressively ever touched, let me just be honest, touched anybody's mom, any adult like that. So it's not just my mom. I'll be like, hey, get your mom, get your mom, get your mom. But I've never touched anybody, adult, older lady, mom like that. There's some people on television shows I purposely avoid because you are a mother and I'm trying to give you grace before I even say what I want to say to you on my platform. So I have to agree. I wouldn't touch my mom like that. However, I always say this. There is, let me say this, and I'm not making excuses. When we look at Jackie and Chantel, it is what it is. And I remember talking to a lady a couple of years ago, and she told me on a spirit level, the spirit doesn't judge. It doesn't say this is bad, this is good. On a spirit level, there's only a lesson or an opportunity. I think this is a lesson for Chantel. I think it's an opportunity for Jackie as a mother. If that makes any sense. Fruit gummy. Does that make sense?
It does, Queen. It does. And I wanted to piggyback off of something you said about being tender, and it speaks to the dynamics, if that's okay. And sorry if someone's already said this, but I was going to say, I know a lot of people say, well, Chantel should have never even come on the show, but I do agree. However, what I also would say is that in the moment that took place, I didn't feel like Jackie did any like authentic and true motherly, like trying to diffuse the situation. I feel like it was antagonistic, and I think that that speaks to the bigger issue that Chantel has been speaking about. I think when you look at like a mother's touch, when I think of my mother, even in times where there might have been, a heightened moment, the love and tenderness she has, it doesn't even allow it to cross a certain level. Like there's just certain things she would never ever do. And so when we talk about Jackie and her behavior and how this is something that's been ongoing, the fact that she could even I don't believe in the, oh, well, you have a reflex. I could see in that moment her literally freezing versus reaching out to hit her and calling her a bitch. That speaks to the toxicity that is brewing in that relationship. So that's just what I wanted to come back and say, Queen.
All right. No, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you, Fruit Gummy. It's a lot. Y'all, but I'm not kind of glad. I'm very I'm happy we're having this conversation over here because this real life for a lot of you tuned in. It
And
doesn't matter
Queen,
how it doesn't matter how well you navigated it. The fact is, it should never happen. You shouldn't have to navigate it. I want us to be soft and beautiful. You know, like the perm many years ago as Black women. I'm for real. I want us to be soft and beautiful. We don't have to be wild like that and fighting. And I know the a lot of you say, "Nah, you hit me, I'm gonna swing on you." But see, that goes back to what Jen Lee Coy says. I ain't putting nobody around me that I gotta swing on. And if so, you tricked me, Judas. You get what I'm saying? I want us to be a little bit more discerning about who deserves us, who gets to be around us, and who's going to bring out the best in us and not the worst. Simple yet stylish.
I'm sorry, Queen. I just want to add that based on, I don't know if anyone else caught this, but based on that physical altercation, I feel like this is not the first time they've had a physical altercation like that. I feel like this is a constant negative cycle that probably takes place in their household. That's not the first time Jackie's hit Chantel like that. And that's not the first time Chantel has touched her mum in a disrespectful manner or spoken to, like thrown verbal abuse at her mum. You can tell based on that clip that this is something that they've been through before.
Well, she said it. Chantel pinned that in her thing. This is their dynamics, and I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people quick to pop off, but see, the beauty is not in popping off. The beauty is being able to live your life accordingly, y'all. That's real. You can really set up a life where you don't really fuck with nobody that's going to bring out the worst in you. And I'm for real, family, friends, whomever. I'm living. That's what it means when we say I'm out here living my best life. A lot of people attribute that to finances and tangible items. Living your best life, I attribute that to a spiritual level. It ain't got nothing to do with religion. But baby, if your soul is perplexed, if your spirit is convoluted, you can't be around me until you go do your own work. And that's what I wish for us as women. You get what I'm saying? Simple yet stylish earlier posted Chantel claims her mom touched her arm first, but she pushed her. So does that mean they cut that out the edit? Is Basketball Wives producers playing both sides where they don't show Jackie made the initial touch and Chantel responded and Jackie swung? I don't know. Simple says, I didn't see that part, so I'm gonna go back and watch. See, here's the thing. These cameras, and this editing, they have the capability to do whatever they want. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the 10-piece and a pepper. Lady D Hannah says Doug has felt all three of these children. A father's job is to protect, even if you have to protect them from your own wife. When Chantel realizes this, she will have deeper trauma. Oh yeah, it ain't even hit her yet. Y'all, this is so messed up on so many levels. I'm not going to say this family can't heal, but it's going to have to start with Doug and Jackie, or at least Jackie first. Okay. At least Jackie first, because I remember this phrase and this quote by Malcolm X. He says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. Jackie got a lot of work to do for her own healing and addressing her own trauma, because Jackie, you know what? Let me stop. Okay. Coco Doll, thank you for the 20-piece super sticker. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Let me go to the next one. Let's go. E Boogie 713, thank you for the 5-piece and a pepper. She says, in my opinion, you cannot expect healed decisions / actions from unhealed people. The unhealed far exceed the healed in numbers. Yes, you can. Yes, you can lay down expectations. Yes, you can. You do it every day in relationships with men. When they show up and you expect them, and I'm not talking to E Boogie. We say what we want, how we want to be treated. You put it on dating profiles. You speak it in your relationships. People come into your life every day that aren't healed. And we have a level of empathy and grace and patience for them. Yes, you can lay down expectations. I'm just pushing back, but I think you can if they're going to be around me. Side Eye Sage the 7 says, some folks don't understand that you get what you put out. That isn't their first time fighting and cussing each other out. Right. I agree. But you got to get in a place where you ain't got to put out that type of energy. The whole household needs extensive, surgery, therapy. I agree. What are your thoughts? Simple yet stylish.
I agree. And I just put in the comment section that they need Jesus, and maybe Iyanla, maybe she needs to come out of retirement for a quick 5 minutes, they all need therapy. I think even the son as well, because I think in the first or second episode, I saw a clip where Chantel called him and she was complaining about their mom and he was sort of agreeing with her. So you can probably tell that he has some issues somewhere, but because he's not on the public platform like that, we don't really know what's going on with him. But the whole family needs therapy, deep therapy, individually and as a family as well. I feel like they need therapy. I feel like maybe Doug also went through some things as well. Maybe he has some past trauma, hence why it sort of gives the vibe that he's sort of like dismissive of the whole situation. Like he just sort of sweeps it under the rug. They all need help.
I agree. And I want to say this. See, now trauma shows up different in boys. When we're talking about Dougie, let me tell you what boys do when they don't like their mamas. They beat their wives. They abuse them. Oh, now we're woke. Because I just told y'all this is the outcome of toxicity, Chantel, in the family. It don't make sense. There's no excuse. But imagine that boy, if we put Dougie and plaster Dougie's picture here, beating on your child. That's a whole different conversation. Now then people will be ready to address. Hold up, Jackie. How did you what? Raise your son. He better keep his hands off what? My MF and daughter. Then we would hold Jackie and Doug accountable. Quit playing with me. Let Dougie put his hands on somebody. All hell would break loose. That's your son. That's your sorry ass son. That you raised them like that. The same notion applies. You just seeing Chantel get physical with her mother, pushing her. Boys, they're worse. That's all I'm saying. And y'all, unfortunately, the panel is closed. I see people still coming up. I'm just tag teaming this with somebody that's been here from the beginning, that's in the backstage. So, let's go to Side Eye Sage to 7. Let me do this real quick. The panel's closed. She says, I understand not being able to give what you don't have, but don't bring kids into your unhealed mess. That may have been an earlier comment. I wish I knew what you were talking about. The abstract oracle says Chantel will have to accept that her mom may not change because much of this is about control on both sides. Mama ain't gonna change. Jackie ain't going nowhere. It's too late. I know it ain't too late. It's done. It's a wrap. Jackie has been rewarded for who she is and how she is. All Chantel, remember I said this is an opportunity for Jackie and a lesson for Chantel. Sexy RN, thank you for the 5 piece and the pepper. She says, why do people expect more from the children than the parent? Girl, if that's not the most upside down pyramid, I don't know what is. Respect is a two-way street. See, before you can get respect, you got to be able to, there has to be love established. I don't see love nowhere. In this equation. Okay? Let me see. Anything else? I think I am done for the day. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to all of you beautiful people that came up and shared your opinions on the panel. This was an excellent conversation. I wish it didn't have to end, but we're just going to sit back and wait and see what happens. Until then, I will see you next time. Have a good day, everybody.